Welcome to the Lockdown Coverage Podcast with Austin Nelson, DeMarco Moore, and Jordan Maiden.
Welcome into Lockdown Coverage, the podcast. Jordan Maiden here with you. Alongside me, Austin Nelson, DeMarco Moore. Guys, what's up?
What's up, fellas? How we doing?
Good. How y'all feeling?
Man, feeling good. We are on the heels of Super Bowl 53, dubbed by most to be the worst Super Bowl ever played. Guys, initial reactions to the game.
Initial reaction is I'm a rich man. Thank you, Tom Brady. That's the initial reaction. But all in all, I'm going to be honest, Jordan. I mean, I've heard a few people. It wasn't the greatest game, okay? But I haven't heard it coined as the worst Super Bowl ever yet. You were literally the first person I heard say that. Listen, we are so spoiled and used to these high-scoring and very exciting Super Bowls. And as we should be, I feel like that's the way the game should be played. I mean, it should be the most exciting game of the year. Two best teams in football are facing off. But it wasn't that way. And I don't really know why it didn't happen that way. But it was a defensive battle, and it was just kind of cool to watch, in a sense. At a certain point in the game, I mean, almost to the very, very end, there was more punts than points. Think about that. It's just it was bizarre to kind of watch, but it was cool in a sense because you didn't really know what was going to happen next. It could have been a long run or a long pass or something, but it was just kind of all this dink and dunk stuff for both sides. And from the very get-go, and I had a feeling this would happen, the Rams just looked nervous. They looked shook, Jared Goff especially. So it wasn't that surprising to me that the Rams didn't play that well. But it was just more surprising that the Patriots didn't play that well. Julian Edelman had his day, obviously the Super Bowl MVP. But other than that, you're right, it wasn't exciting, but I wasn't upset about it.
DeMarco, what'd you think?
I definitely think it was underwhelming. Obviously, I felt like
That's a good word.
I'm a little biased.
I like that.
I'm a little biased because I'm a big Drew Brees fan, so I was really pulling for the Saints to get in. And to Austin's point about us being spoiled. I mean, I wasn't expecting it to be like a 40-30 game.
But we were expecting some touchdowns, Demo.
Yeah, of course. We was expecting some touchdowns, and it was fascinating to see, because you were kind of on the edge of your seat, because obviously it wasn't a 10-0 game. It was a close game, and it was pretty much like whoever scores the first touchdown at this point. I was more interested to see if the Pats could shut out the Rams, and once they got their field goal, obviously they took that off the board. But I knew it was going to be I wasn't expecting a blowout. I wasn't expecting a high-scoring affair because the Patriots don't play high-scoring Super Bowls. They've never the highest they've won their Super Bowls by is 8 points last year, or not 8 points last year. What was it? The overtime win against the Falcons back in 2016. I think that's the highest point total they've won.
Until Sunday, yeah.
Yeah, up until Sunday, the 7 points that they won by. So I mean, we this is what Bill Belichick does. He plays a kind of grounded out game, ball control. They want to run the football, and they did exactly what they needed to do. But I think this was more about how bad the Rams played, more so than how good the Patriots defense played.
This is why I thought it was the worst Super Bowl in history.
Agreed.
The inability to scheme against a blitz just irritated me to death. I mean, the Patriots are sending 6 guys each time, and the one time they call a screen play, Brandon Cooks rips it up the sideline for 20 yards. Obviously, they're getting to Jared Goff really quickly. They kept, calling play action. And whenever you do something like that, he's going to have, maybe a second to look for his first read, and he's got to get the ball out or he's going to be sacked. The coaching was horrendous offensively. Defensively, they more or less neutralized the Patriots, and that was good. They let one guy beat them, and that was Julian Edelman, but with a Patriots offense that's got that many weapons. I think you could live with that if you're at least able to score some points.
And that was the biggest thing that I was looking forward to, was just to see how Sean McVay's, because I'm not gonna say I'm a Sean McVay hater, but it's kind of like, you've always got those people that stand on the side and see, is like, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do when the chips are against you? And kind of when they got exposed earlier in the season against the Lions, I know they won that game by 14 points, but that was like touchdowns at the end. And then obviously when they got manhandled against the Bears, it's kind of like, what are you going to do when you run up against a really, really good defense? And this is probably the best defensive mind of our era and probably of all time in Bill Belichick. And they schemed Sean McVay to death. And I don't even think it was a case where they say, we're going to take away your best asset like they normally do. I think they just said, we're going to throw the kitchen sink at Jared Goff, and we're going to see how they respond. And Jared Goff, he folded under pressure like multiple times, because you could see people running wide open. You could see he had time to throw the football at times. At times, either he, escaped the pocket. Now they had him running for his life. I'm not gonna act like I wasn't out there getting banged around. But at times where he had to stand in the pocket and just deliver the football, it just looked like he shook up. And Sean McVay, I don't think he did a good job of calming him down. I think the moment proved to be too big for Sean McVay too, because when Todd Gurley proved to be ineffective, I think Sean McVay, he just he folded up as well. So I think it was youth on both sides, from coaching and the quarterback position. I don't think they did a good job of helping each other. I think as a head coach, Sean McVay didn't do a very good job calling plays to help his young quarterback, calling some screen plays, calling more short throws. It was kind of just drop, 5-step drop, 7-step drop, and Jared Goff was out there getting killed.
Besides Brady's turnover, the interception on the first pass of the game, was there any more turnovers in the game? I don't think so.
No, it was a clean game, and that's what made it. It was kind of weird.
Jared Goff threw the interception at the end.
True. Okay, you're right. Yes, sir. Yep. It's just very conservative. I felt like it just wasn't. It wasn't the normal Rams. It wouldn't. They weren't throwing bombs to Robert Woods or Cooks. It just got boring, and they just. I think they'll regret that, and they already do regret that, obviously. But they got way too conservative, and they weren't the normal Rams we wanted to see. And I'm not sure. Like I said, what happened? It was a very unexpected game.
Dude, after Nick Foles, a backup quarterback, shredded this exact same defense, minus Jason McCourty last year, I was fully expecting Sean McVay to just, chuck it deep. You got Brandon Cooks, who was on the opposing side last year. You got Brandon Cooks, who could burn anybody in that secondary. I mean, I thought they would take more deep shots. I thought they would, something. But it was like zone read left, zone read right. That wasn't working. We're going to run play action, even though our running game hasn't been working the entire time. We're going to run that naked bootleg and have somebody chase Jared Goff off the edge every single time, and it did not work. And he stuck with it. He was looking like Mike Mularkey out there, if you ask me.
And I didn't believe the whole Gurley's injured talk. I saw a stat Monday from Fox Sports 1, and the next gen stats, I guess these sites are doing now. Gurley was the fastest player on the field when he had the ball in his hand at 19.5 miles per hour. So he wasn't injured at all. It was just, I guess, a schematic thing. I don't know if it was in his head or what, but man, he had an awful postseason.
10 rushes, 35 yards for Gurley. If I told you guys that Jared Goff passed for 229 yards, would you actually believe it?
Yes. But how many completions?
He went 19 of 38, so right at 50%.
Yeah. I could see it.
I honestly would not have believed that. Brandon Cooks,
he made some big throws, though. He made some at times he made big throws.
Yeah, but it always seemed like he was throwing to a spot. And on the interception that more or less sealed the game, what was he trying to do? He got blitzed and just threw to a spot, and his man wasn't there.
I think he just got nervous and chucked it up in the air. I mean, the blitz was like instant, and he just threw the ball in the air. I honestly feel like they were trying to go back to that same route combination that Brandon Cooks actually dropped because it was on the same side of the field.
The touchdown, yeah.
Yeah, the touchdown that he dropped, not the one in the back of the end zone, but the one that went straight through his hands. I mean, literally right through his hands. And Jared, they were trying to hit the same thing, and I think Bill Belichick and them just drew up a blitz and just hit him with it.
Sure.
Besides the game, I mean, what did you guys think about the halftime show and the commercials?
Commercials, they were okay. Halftime show, I think everybody was really, really disappointed that they didn't get Sweet Victory
Well, why?
from SpongeBob.
I don't understand what
See,
I liked it. Maybe
yeah,
because
I mean,
I'm a Maroon 5 fan.
Yeah, I mean, I am too. But what turned me off about it was the fact that every other song, Adam Levine was taking a piece of clothing off, which didn't make any sense to me.
Jesus.
And I guess it just why? Just keep your clothes on. No, you would have been just fine. I don't know. And he's way too tatted. He looks like a creative player on 2K. I don't know. Boy had a lot of VC. I wasn't really liking that. But commercial wise, I didn't pay too much attention to them. But when I did, obviously the NFL 100 commercial was by far the best commercial there was. And then did you guys catch the Anthony Lynn commercial?
Yeah, no, that was really cool.
Man.
I love the Anthony Lynn commercial.
Whoa, Jesus, that was cool.
Tearjerker.
Yes. I was not expecting that, and then you saw the two people walk up and they said, "Well, Coach, I was the people, there that night," and I was like, "Wait a minute, this is about to be cool." So I really like that one.
Are you buying the idea that maybe because of the game was so boring and slow that maybe people's attention really wasn't on the commercials? Because for me, that's kind of how it was. I was playing dominoes. I was drinking. I was doing anything but paying attention to the game because the game wasn't holding my attention. So I really didn't see that many commercials.
From what I've seen on Twitter, that people just stopped watching the game, halfway through the second quarter. They just kind of gave up on it, which is understandable. Right. We live in a country, guys, where one, they didn't want to see the Rams in there because they knew the Rams shouldn't be there, and two, America's 95% Patriots haters. So nobody was happy with the Super Bowl we got. We all wanted to see Saints Chiefs or Saints Patriots to just have a better game. I think ratings wise, it's obvious that it wasn't the best Super Bowl ever. Absolutely not.
Yeah, I think definitely Saints Chiefs would have been the better matchup. Guys, what do we think about these two teams going forward? What's the future for the Rams? What's the future for the Patriots?
If TB12 is quarterback for the Patriots, then we can see these guys here for the next 2-3 years. But there are the Chiefs. There are the Colts. Who else am I missing? There's a few.
Titans.
I didn't want to get by.
Chargers.
The Chargers, yes. You always have to. The Steelers are still there too. So there's teams out there. But this is one of those Patriots teams this year where we said, no, this is not the year. They're not doing it. They got whooped by a Titans team in Nashville. They just don't have it anymore. And then again, you see what happens. You just can't ever doubt them, no matter what, with Tom Brady, Bill Belichick at the helm. Opposite side, the Rams, I don't know, man, to be honest with you. They're still who are they losing next season? I haven't looked at the roster, but
Ndamukong Suh.
Maybe.
He was on a 1-year deal.
Yeah, but I would assume he
resigns.
I think
Aqib Talib's on a 1-year deal too.
Yeah,
Dante Fowler. There's a few guys, but all in all, the offensive side, I still think they can be back. Sean McVay, obviously, guys, is one of the brightest young minds in football. So with him, I think they'll be fine. They still got to compete with the Seahawks and the Saints, the Vikings, the Packers. They're still. The NFC is still the most superior conference in my mind. They'll still be. I think they're both playoff teams next year.
Yeah, it's hard to go against Brady. I said I'd stop. I was as skeptical as anybody, but it's hard to go against him, especially after this year. He proved that, even with what we thought was a bad team or an inexperienced team or just a non-talented team, they still was able to pull a Super Bowl out of their asses. But I think the Chiefs will definitely be scary. all the pieces on offense are coming back. And if they draft another cornerstone on defense, maybe on the defensive line or in the secondary, and they've got Steve Spagnuolo now, so they've got somebody who knows how to move pieces around. Because that defense is not as bad. Like the personnel is not as bad as as they played. Like they have great personnel on that side of the ball, but for whatever reason, Bob Sutton wasn't getting the best out of them. But anyway, it'll be the Patriots as long as Tom Brady and Bill Belichick are there. But on the Rams side, yeah, like y'all said, I mean, y'all pretty much hit on it. They invested a lot in this year alone.
Yeah.
So it'll be tough to repeat because after this year, moving forward, they're gonna lose a lot from the defensive side. But it's still gonna be a 25 to 27 point game offense. I think they still got Jared Goff, system guy, and still got Todd Gurley. If these trade rumors aren't true.
Hard to disagree with either of you guys. Let's move on to the NBA. Trade deadline is coming up on Thursday.
Woo!
Can't wait. Love it. Anthony Davis. He wants out of New Orleans, and the Lakers are willing to give the Pelicans everything.
Everything.
And they still won't. They still won't. Still won't agree to anything. Guys, what do we make of that? What do the Lakers need to offer? If they offered too much, what do we make of this?
Demo, you want to go first?
Yeah, I mean, I was gonna say, they offered the kitchen sink pretty much. I mean, they gave them they offered half the roster. They offered Ingram, Lonzo, Kuz, Zubac, 2 first-rounders. They even offered to take some money from Solomon Hill off the plate.
And
off their hands.
I think too, DeMarco, the last offer they even put Josh Hart in there.
Yeah, they threw Josh Hart in there too. Yeah.
Wow.
So that's that's the entire young core. Now, if you do approve that trade, you're left with old guys in the starting lineup and Anthony Davis and LeBron James. So it's kind of like LeBron is back in the same position that he was in, with the Cavaliers. It's just him and another superstar. So and that doesn't clear up much space because Anthony Davis is going to command a max contract, after next season. So, I mean, I don't know what else you could do. I know I saw that the Lakers had rescinded their offer because what was it? The Pelicans wanted like 6 to 8 picks. I'm like, what the hell are y'all doing? What the hell are y'all thinking?
Yeah, it's at that price point, it's either players or picks, I feel like. But yeah, I mean, LA offered half the roster. I definitely think the Pelicans made out better, getting 3 young core guys that they could build around. I mean, wouldn't you guys take that trade if you were the Pelicans?
You would think so, yes. Absolutely. But I'm more shocked at the Lakers just giving up that much. And I mean, I know plenty of Lakers fans who at the time were like, give up whatever for Anthony Davis. He's a once in a lifetime player, in which he is. He's a generational talent. There is not another Anthony Davis in the league. And we haven't seen somebody like him, I don't know if ever. But to give up that much, to lose half your team and the future and draft picks just for one guy in a Solomon Hill, in my opinion, it's not worth it to me.
I agree.
And I think now, the way the whole situation went down, it's a little interesting because I don't think the Pelicans appreciated how Rich Paul, who is Anthony Davis' agent, came out and said, my client would like to be traded, and then he would like to be traded to the Los Angeles Lakers, which would have pissed my job off too. The Pelicans. It's not cool for an agent to come out and say, hey, my player wants to be traded to the Lakers, make this happen. Obviously, Rich Paul and LeBron are best friends. We all know what was going on. And so I could see why the Pelicans were playing hard to get with the Lakers, trying to get as much as possible, and kind of just toying with them, trolling with them back and forth, saying, okay, now add this, and then they'll add this, and say, you know what, wait, we'll add this too. Okay, and then they add that. Okay, we want 4 first-round picks. So it's funny just to see it go back and forth, and now the Lakers that have backed out and said, forget it. If you guys are serious about this, and then offer us again, but we're done. We're done trying to play games with you guys. And this has been like a week-long process now. I mean, we've been hearing about AD every single day for a week.
But what's going to end up happening is, Austin, is that
Yeah.
New Orleans is going to end up. He's going to walk anyway.
No doubt.
After this year. So why not try to get what you can get for him now? Just like the Spurs did when Kawhi was talking about leaving. And that
I agree completely with that.
Well, so he's not a free agent until 2020. So next year he's going to have to play with the Pelicans again if they don't trade him. And like I said, you're right though. They have to trade him to get something back. And now,
or else he's going to walk for nothing. Then you're stuck with Julius Randle.
Of course. And so they'll trade him to somebody, and who it is, I don't know. Now you saw the list that he came out with, I believe yesterday. The Clippers, the Bucks, the Knicks, and the Lakers were on that list, and the Celtics were not. Now, as a Celtics fan, and I'm going to say this as a basketball fan too, why he does not want to go to Boston baffles me. I'm not sure why he doesn't want to go. Does he know something we don't know? Maybe.
I mean, you alluded to it. I think it's just the relationship with Rich Paul and obviously the LeBron.
It has to be, for sure.
I think him being a younger player, obviously. I'm going to be honest with you. I thought he was 28, 29, entering his prime. I didn't know he was 25 years old. I completely lost track.
He's a young guy, yeah.
He came out, he was a freshman in college, came out with 18, 19.
Yeah, exactly. So, and obviously the way he's handling this reminds me of kind of how LeBron handled his first free agency. The optics are just bad. He's alienating his teammates. Yeah. It's just not a good situation, from the outside looking in. Because if he doesn't get traded, now he has to walk into a locker room for the next year and look at his teammates and know, you don't want to be here, so why should we play for you or whatever? And the Pelicans are probably going to end up tanking and getting the number 1 pick next year anyway. Yeah. So, I mean, why not get what you can get for him now? Stop playing these games. But anyway, the Pelicans got to stop playing games and just take what you can get for him now because he's going to leave anyway. He doesn't want to be there. So get those young guys from the Lakers and build around them.
I've been kind of following this pretty closely, and just because I'm a Celtics fan, I mean, I feel like every other day there's something about the Celtics in this, which still makes me wonder that they're somehow in it still. And so because he wasn't on the list, the Celtics weren't one of the guys. I don't know if you guys read the comments from his dad about how the Celtics
was it Bucks and Clippers, the other two teams?
Yeah, Bucks, Clippers, Knicks, and Lakers.
I saw Bucks. Which is intriguing.
But I also read yesterday that Dale Demps, I believe that's his name, the GM of the Pelicans, said they're going to wait on the Celtics this summer for them to make a move and try to get Jason Tatum. So that right there tells me that they have been talking to the Celtics, and they're still, for some whatever reason, not trading AD to the Lakers because they find that the Celtics pieces are more attractive than the Lakers for whatever reason. So that right there tells me that the Celtics are somehow, they still have a heartbeat in this. And I don't know, personally, guys, if AD does not want to be in Boston, then I don't want him, obviously. That makes total sense for both sides. But if he can re-sign there long-term, then absolutely trade whoever you can get and trade whoever to the Pelicans for Anthony Davis, and I'm all on board. But you're right. I mean, the easiest answer is AD to the Lakers.
How do they, if he does indeed go to the Celtics, if he's traded there, how do you clear the cap space for a guy like that?
Who knows?
That was going to be my question.
Yeah, I'm not sure how. And I'm about over this Kyrie talk as well. Kyrie he came to Boston because he wanted his own team and to be a leader. And he's been so back and forth with the antics and being a drama queen about the young guys aren't ready to win a championship. Then it's ask me about free agency, July 1st. And then it's I'm only focused on the team. So he's so back and forth with it. So I don't know what he's going to do. I don't know if the Celtics are planning on life without Kyrie, and that's why they're going, still trying to hold that hope for AD. I'm not sure how you clear cap space, especially with that Gordon Hayward contract. Who knows?
Yeah, Gordon Hayward demanding $31 million in cap this year. Al Horford would probably be the guy to go.
100%.
He's demanding right around $29 million in cap this year.
Crazy.
But no doubt, I mean, the Celtics. Let's be honest. Even as depleted as they were last year, it seems like this year's team is not just that they maybe are not just gelling the way that they need to.
Yeah, they have been as of late. You're right, though, 100%. They were the Celtics were the 5th seed for 7-8 weeks in a row. They just couldn't get over the hump. of that has to do with Gordon Hayward. I mean, the man's only averaging 11 points a game, and this guy was a two-time, three-time All-Star. He can hoop. Gordon Hayward can hoop. I'm still not. I don't know why he hasn't got it together. Jaylen Brown isn't the guy that we all hoped he'd be. Jason Tatum has still not got over that hump. Now, Jason Tatum can be a future superstar in this league.
Absolutely.
But I think now he's only averaging 14, 15 a game. And if that you're just an average player in the league. I could be wrong, Jordan. You can back me up on that. Yeah, I think you have the laptop in front of you. But they're just not. They're not the best team in the East as of yet. Now they're now the 3 seed, so they're gaining ground on the Bucks and the Raptors. And I believe the Celtics are now 2-0 against the Raptors this season. If that tells you anything, come playoff time, I don't know.
It's a good spot to be in.
Yeah, and I think the Bucks are too. So I still think, in my personal opinion, the East is going to be very fun to watch come playoff time, because I think the top 4 seeds, and I think you guys can agree, will be the Bucks, Raptors, Celtics, Sixers, maybe in that order. So whoever plays who in the playoffs, man, it could be anybody can get bounced. So NBA playoff time is always one of the best times of the year.
Oh God, I agree. Yeah, no, you were definitely right. Gordon Hayward, he's averaging right at 10.6 points a game.
Yeah.
Shooting percentages are fine. He's shooting 42% from the field. But yeah, I think maybe he's just playing, pretty gingerly on that ankle.
I'm not sure, man. He's
that was
had
gonna
plenty
be my
of
point right there.
yeah. And honestly, if he needs another year to recover, if he needs another year to kind of get himself back, then so be it. I don't see anybody beating the Warriors again this year, guys. I thought the Celtics could do it beginning of the year, but as of today, no. We all know that's not the answer. That's not the case. Maybe it's after the All-Star break they'll finally get it going and be the team that we thought they'd be. But as of right now, no, they're nowhere close to where they should be.
It just feels like the team is kind of still finding its identity, if that makes sense.
I think so too.
Obviously, Gordon Hayward's probably battling. It looks like he's healthy, but he's obviously battling. If you've broken a bone or even injured yourself a little bit, once you come back on the court and try to go 100%, like mentally, it kind of messes with you. So I'm sure that's kind of in the back of his mind, and Brad Stevens, and maybe they're just working him back into the rotation or just trying to find what fits best. So after the All-Star break, they can really hit it hard and kind of gel like they're supposed to. And obviously, this whole Kyrie situation's got to be messing and hampering with him. And Kyrie's not helping himself by saying shit like, I talked to LeBron the other day. And how the media is going to run with that. And his teammates are going to hear stuff like that. So just that whole thing, this is stuff that they didn't have to deal with last year because, they didn't have a superstar to rally around. They didn't have those extra distractions. It was just the young guys. It was just Al Horford, and they just went at it hard and, made Brad Stevens look like, a young Greg Popovich. But this year they have those distractions, and they're kind of struggling. They're kind of struggling to, to dampen it and, lock it down. So maybe after the All-Star break, we'll have to see. But yeah, if anybody's got to go, it's got to be Gordon Hayward. He's a defensive liability so far, but I'd love for it to work, but it's a shame that we haven't had an opportunity to see it work because he and Kyrie Irving haven't been fully healthy on the court for long enough.
Agree completely. Also, Austin, if it makes you feel any better, it took Paul George about 2 years to come back from a similar injury.
And look at him! And look at him right now in the MVP discussion. Balling. Shout out to your Thunder.
Thunder also in a similar position where they're just trying to figure out what works, especially for Russell Westbrook. Yeah. But guys, let's move on. I know this is something that we are all excited about. The NFL draft got to be in Nashville this year. A lot of free events have already been talked about. It's going to be on Riverfront. Dude, like how awesome would it be just to be downtown, rooftop, just to watch, the first round of the draft?
Listen, not how cool would it be? It's going to be. Listen, if y'all aren't there for that, then y'all are.
I'll be there. I'll be there.
You guys are not the sports fans I thought you'd be. This is a once in a lifetime event. We all know that. But it's to be in our backyard, in the city we love, and just the kind of the magnitude of how cool this event will be. There's been no other NFL draft like the one we'll see in Nashville. I mean, it's going to be on Broadway in the city's main street for hundreds of thousands of people to watch. It's going to be packed. And you're right. The free events they'll have kind of across the bridge on the Titans Nissan Stadium side of it. It's going to be crazy. Just think about the amount of players, former, current Hall of Famers all over the place that'll be there in Nashville to experience this. And who knows the people we'll meet, guys. Listen, if you're listening to this podcast right now and you are not planning to go to the draft, do it. If you have kids, take them. Bring your wife, bring your girlfriend, bring your fiance, but you have to go down there. Thursday, Friday, or Saturday. But you will not want to miss Thursday because that's going to be the most packed day. So it's going to be a lot of fun.
I've already decided that Thursday I'm getting down there at noon. And,
I think so too. Yeah.
Just gonna pregame and man, just
have you guys been? Spot. Just
I know.
Yeah, that's all it is, really.
Have you guys been downtown on the 4th of July? I assume you have, but ever done that before?
I was gonna say this will probably be like New Year's Eve on steroids.
That's exactly what I'm thinking.
Yeah,
on steroids.
They're expecting 300,000 people, but
300,000 people down.
I would say more, honestly.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised because you got people coming from all over the country to see this.
Yes,
they want to see their baby get their name called. So,
exactly, 100%.
I'm more interested to see who's going to be spilled out. Spilling what celebrities are going to be just randomly walking through downtown.
Yeah,
because there'll be people just out and about. Like they're just regular, which they are regular people, but you know how that goes.
For sure,
people are going to be starstruck.
Absolutely,
a lot.
And guys, they've already talked about free concerts downtown. Obviously, they're going to be there all 3 days doing different kinds of stuff. Are you guys worried about Saturday? It's the same day as the Music City Marathon that day.
I won't be down there, so I don't really care.
I won't be down there Saturday either.
Yeah,
that's a little wild. They already set off half the city for the Music City Marathon.
Exactly. Yeah. It'll definitely be a Thursday, Friday thing for me too. Guys, also National Signing Day coming up tomorrow. Second National Signing Day. Lot of talk around Tennessee recruiting. Austin, is there much about around Vanderbilt recruiting, or
listen?
Are you even sure?
I am not positive. I did read something today that Vandy's getting a Michigan State grad transfer defensive end, so pretty stoked about that. They got a Harvard wide receiver a few weeks ago, so things are going well in West End. Hoping to compete for Atlanta this year.
Hey, Austin, did you see that? Did you see that Scottie Pippen Jr. committed?
Absolutely, baby.
Now I don't know how good he is, but
yeah,
I guess
he's not a Darius Garland. Yeah, it'll be cool just to have Scottie Pippen at Memorial. So that'd be kind of neat.
That's a recruiting point. Hey, we got Scottie Pippen's son.
Exactly.
Maybe you should too.
Maybe we should
also
get Bronny.
Yeah, seriously, is Pippen Jr. also a small forward, or what's he playing, point guard? Or
yeah, I believe he's a point guard.
I saw where he's only 6 feet tall, which is kind of weird. Dad's like 6'7".
Right. Exactly. And I think something I'm backtracking here, Jordan. Just to
that's all good.
Finish my point. You guys, you know how cool it's going to be when the Titans actually pick Thursday night, and that place is going to go.
Oh God.
Effing bananas.
It'll be deafening.
It's gonna be
not if it's a guard.
Yeah, no kidding.
No, it's definitely gonna be a good.
Let me ask you that. I wanted to ask you guys that just real quick because, like I said, I don't want to keep going forever. Don't name a player, name a position, but what position do the Titans go in the draft first round? Let's go. I understand off season. There's a whole off season to go. We have no idea, but if you had to guess right now, who do they go? What position?
I would go probably edge rusher. They lost. Well, okay, so they lost Brian Arakpo. Derek Morgan, from his comments on Super Bowl Radio Row, basically sounds like he's not going to be re-signed, and I'm happy for everything that he's done, and
Just say it. No, quit being
Right,
right.
just say
you know
just
what?
say it.
I will. I am
So
glad
funny.
he's gone. God, he's pretty bad.
Oh Jesus!
It's been pretty bad.
He's just dancing. He's just dancing, man.
You know what? No, but I am. I'm thankful for everything that he's done. But yeah, the Titans not signing Brandon Graham and signing Derek Morgan is it's gonna be pretty hard to forget.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's tough. That's tough.
DeMarco,
But
who you
yeah.
think?
I would definitely either go defensive or edge rusher or interior, like defensive tackle. So something on that D line, something to ham up that D line for
It's
sure.
a clean sweep. I'm with you guys there as well.
Got to get pressure on the quarterback. Got to. Not enough pressure from the front seven.
Austin, are you also thinking edge rusher or?
Yeah, that's what I said. That clean sweep. Yeah, no doubt. I'm with you guys as well. It has to be. And, I could name a bunch of guys that I've been looking at. Montez Sweat. I love Jonathan Simmons. There's a few more guys out there. I like a few of the guys from Clemson.
Christian Wilkins.
Lawrence, Christian Wilkins. There's a few guys out there. I don't know. I don't really think all four will go in the first round like they were once projected to. So if one of them fall in the second round, I'd be happy for that as well. But there's also guys I love. Andy Isabella, not in the first round. Let me back up. Debo Samuel, Lil Jordan Humphreys. There's just a bunch of guys that I think the Titans could use on the team.
What a name!
Right? His government name is Lil Jordan.
I love it.
Crazy.
I would be so hyped.
Lil Jordan.
Lil Jordan. Oh, I love it. But yeah, like we said, this roster's nowhere close to competing for an AFC South crown. Hell, nonetheless a Super Bowl. So they got J-Rob's got a lot of work to do this offseason.
Totally agree on that. Well, yeah, guys, any final thoughts before we get out of here?
80 to the Celtics.
Just keep tightening up. Pistons, do what you gotta do.
Are you a Pistons fan?
I am.
Oh man, I didn't even know that.
It's hard. What am I gonna say? They're not doing anything.
I honestly are they in playoff contention right now? Or are they?
They are. They're like the 9th or the 10th seed right now.
Oh god, in the East.
Every year. Yeah.
I feel for you, man. Well, we'll go on and get out of here, guys. We'll be back next week. Hopefully we'll know where Anthony Davis is playing and update you guys. Good talking to you. We'll see you next week.